Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode. This is how to book the WWE on TEW 2020. The mod we'll be looking at is Killing the Business, which is set in September 2020. We're looking to get off to a good start with a rating overall of 80 or higher. It's quite difficult to do unless you have a good setup base. Also to note on this mod, it was last updated on the 4th of August, even though it's set in September. So some of the things that are set up are slightly different to what you would expect. Basically, it's set up in August, but it starts in September. So we have to book around that. The other thing is, as we get into the game, the announcers have no chemistry at all set, so they've got no experience together, none of them. It was not set up in the mod, so that's going to give us a disadvantage going into this anyway. So I've tried to pick my strongest lineup for Raw. Obviously Michael Cole's our best announcer, but he's on SmackDown, so I've tried to keep it realistic. WWE were chopping and changing their commentators all the time recently anyway, so we've got Jerry Lawler and Renee Young. It's the strongest team I could probably put in place stats wise, even though we know we're going to be penalised, but hopefully we can get that 80 or higher. Another thing, storylines are so important in sports entertainment feds. We don't start with any storylines, so we've got no storyline heat on anything. And to not be penalised on the first show, we need to have at least 5 storylines with 70 heat. So we've got to try and gain that in this first show, otherwise at the end we will be deducted points on the final show rating. So our product, we've got a main event spotlight, so our main event match is the most important, so hopefully what we've booked will give us a really good rating. The angle focus is a tight focus. Obviously we've got we have to have 3 strong matches that the final rating pulls from, so 3 strong matches and 3 strong angles, but the bigger percentage comes from the main event. We need to, because it's Raw, it's a TV show, we've got to have 65% matches to 35% angles, there or thereabouts. Matches less than 15 minutes will not be able to achieve a world-class score, and we need to have at least 1 storytelling match. We'll set to be scripted. The other thing, what you should do when you first start is check your backstage. Mine was at like 76 or something like that, which was causing a negative atmosphere, and you don't need that when you've got these negative people having fights and arguments and all sorts backstage. So I added a masseuse. I dropped the dress code enforced. I took off the 3 hours pre-show arrival. I organised transport and hotels, and that got me up to 85, which is happy. And also my leadership skills set from my avatar is giving us a bonus. The other things, the Women's Tag Team Championship is not in this game. Well, it is in the game, but I just can't find it to book it. So there's all tag teams of any status, a tag team belt, and it's just not there. I don't know if it's because my tag team champions are Bailey and Sasha, who are set on different brands. I'm not sure if that's a bug in there. It's mentioned in the game, as you can see down here. They're holding the championships, but they can't defend them, and I can't find them. So anyway, I've set Bailey to not be brand specific, and the same with Sasha, so they can appear on both shows, as they are the women's championship holders, and the belt dictates that it can be defended on either show. So there we go. I haven't called anyone up from NXT. I'm going to try and book Raw with what I've got. So I don't think there's anything else. Everything else is being left as default. I've not made any amendments to this mod at all. I've left it as it was, as it started. So all the stats and everything are the same. If you want to watch the video where I analysed the roster and set up my spreadsheets and whatnot, you can just have a look through my channel, and it's in the WWE section in the playlist where this will end up. So you can have a look at how I set things up before. So this is the what I've booked. I've gone for a show-stealing performance in the main event, Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. I've gone for... I've tried to put my best referees and my best road agents on my big matches. So I think Finlay and Michael Hayes are my best ones. Except I'm lying because I haven't on this one, so we'll set Michael Hayes to that one. Yeah, that's set to steal a show as well. Aleister Black and Robert Roode is storytelling. And then these are all regular, so Asuka and Natalya is regular. Drew McIntyre and Murphy steal the show. Bobby Lashley and R-Truth is storytelling. Garza and Andrade versus the Viking Raiders is regular. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin is steal the show. And the Golden Role Models versus Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott, I've tried to keep that as... I put that as storytelling. I've tried to keep that as basic as possible because that's what the write-up says, because Morgan and Riott have got low popularity and low psychology and low top row, so I just expect that match to be pretty poor. So anyway, we'll see how we get on. Let's go into it. So important that the way I've set things up, I've tried to get it so we need to get off to a good start. I've tried to set it so all our storylines will hopefully be over 70 at the end. So 77, it's a disappointing start. I was hoping for something in the 80s. 50 for the... yeah, that was to be expected. But Sasha and Bailey have great chemistry teaming. Good to know. And 85, basically, what happened? I was meant to go through the story of the show, so you would understand my thinking. So basically, Kevin Owens came out first. He'd heard a rumor on WWE.com that Brock Lesnar was in the building. He's got no one to face. He's the ultimate prize fighter. Brock Lesnar's the ultimate prize in WWE. He's going to earn him more money for his family. And he's basically calling him out. He's interrupted by Seth Rollins. He just totally interrupts him, ignores that he's actually there, and he's talking about his issues with Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio's in a tag match later on, so Rollins can't have a match with him. Then Owens mentions that he's already beat Rollins at WrestleMania, but as Brock Lesnar's too cowardly to come out and face him right now, he basically goads Seth Rollins into a match later on. Drew McIntyre then comes out on the stage. He talks about his issues with Randy Orton. He also mentions that Randy Orton's in that said tag match. He's itching to get into action tonight, and as them two have already put themselves in a match, he challenges Murphy, who's just stood there not doing anything, to a match later on in that set. So then we moved on. We had the women's tag match, was just a chance to showcase the women's championship belts that I can't do anything with. And they beat Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. Now it's Randy Orton attacking Drew McIntyre backstage. He beats him down. Because Ric Flair was set as his manager back on August 4th when this was updated. So Ric Flair's still there. So I get to do that angle, I guess, where Ric Flair gets punted, but we'll see. So an 85 there. That should advance that storyline. A 66, that's a decent match for Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. It must have got a really good boost from that last rating, because if you look at their performances, that's nowhere near a 66, but that's great. Oh, that's good. An 80. So basically what happened here, the Street Profits were cutting a promo talking about the upcoming #1 contendership tag team championship match between Angel Garza and Andrade, who were taking on the Profits' friends in Ivar and Eric, the Viking Raiders. And basically the door busts open and Paul Heyman comes marching through, and with Brock Lesnar. He's just arrived. Commentators go crazy that Brock Lesnar's here, and Angelo Dawkins' best stat is acting, so I just thought he should do something really entertaining there with a wide mouth or something funny. Yeah, we'll see. Well, we won't, but you know what I mean. Announcing is really letting us down, as is our colour commentary. And they've got no experience, which is penalising all of our booking. But what can we do? I'm just trying to do it. I can go in and edit that, but then I can't release it because it's not fair on somebody who's done all this hard work. But this is what we're up against, so this is why I'm trying to get as best rating I can, and hopefully help some of you new guys out if you're struggling to book the WWE. We get a 64 for our tag team #1 contendership match with Andrade and Angel Garza going over. Hopefully I can book that feud better than WWE did. And we have Apollo Crews down, receiving a beat down from Bobby Lashley. MVP's there mouthing off. They get pushed away by officials. Kevin Owens turns up, seeing all the carnage of what's gone on, and assumes it's Brock Lesnar that he's been about and caused this. So he's running around frantic trying to find him, asking everybody where he is. He'll be doing that all the way through the show. Lashley cements his #1 contendership place for the United States Championship with a win over R-Truth. And then after the match, he's not finished. When we go backstage, oh yeah, by the way, Jason Jordan is an absolute terrible road agent in this. I've obviously had an oversight there and let him do this angle, but his stats are very poor in this game, in this mod. So probably best we don't use him in that way going forward. But a 66, basically Lashley. I'm trying to book him into an uncontrollable monster who is controlled by MVP. Big Show's backstage. He's obviously working as a road agent, and Lashley just destroys him. We get a 66. Drew McIntyre in the match that was made earlier. Drew McIntyre defeats Murphy and gets a 75. And then Samoa Joe is backstage. He's got a microphone. He's cutting a promo, telling everyone that he's going to be back. He's going to be back very soon. He's going to be medically cleared. He's putting everyone on notice, and he says that he's been really impressed with Aleister Black as of late. He sees him as a really good competitor. Kevin Owens turns up, and obviously they were pally beginning of the year. He asks if he knows where Brock Lesnar is. He says, and Samoa Joe says he hasn't seen him, and then he goes off to find him. Asuka and Natalya gets a 70 rating, and then hopefully an impressive win for Asuka there, as she is going to be feuding for her women's championship that she lost to Sasha. A brilliant angle there. Seth Rollins is trying to big up Dolph Ziggler to take out Rey Mysterio in that tag match that's booked later on. But Ziggler has got his sights more set on Ricochet, as everyone's been talking about his superb high-flying show stealing skills, and Ziggler obviously used to call himself the show stealer, so he's not very happy about that. Aleister Black defeats Robert Roode. It gets a 65. Samoa Joe comes out and puts a beating on Aleister Black, and tells him that he's going to, he reminds everyone to be medically cleared soon. And Aleister Black's first on his hit list, as he wants to get back into WWE Championship contender ship. A 67 there. So after that's happened, the camera pans out and we see Bayley and Sasha and Asuka in a verbal confrontation. Bayley's obviously reacting to what she's just seen, Aleister Black getting a beat down, and then tells Asuka that if she keeps getting in their way, that's what's going to happen to her. Asuka's standing her ground though, even though there's two women there. 79 for the tag match, Orton and Ziggler against Ricochet and Mysterio. Again, the announcing's letting us down. Got great chemistry there with Ricochet and Mysterio, so that's good. In 83, McIntyre gets revenge on Orton for what went down earlier on, and that should keep that feud going. Yes, that's a half decent rating, so that's our main event match. So an 82. Obviously the announcers let us down there. Rey Mysterio distracted Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens picked up the win, and so that continues that feud. And then after the match, I was hoping for higher than that, but in 82, Brock Lesnar comes down and puts a beating on Kevin Owens, who gave everything he had in that previous match. Paul Heyman tells him that you don't call out Brock Lesnar. It doesn't matter if you're a prize fighter or not. Brock Lesnar calls the shots, and you won't be getting a one-on-one match with Brock Lesnar here tonight. And it's basically they leave him lying in the ring. That's end of the show, so let's see what we got. Hopefully it's higher than an 80. Oh, an 83. So I'm really pleased with that. It's going to be very difficult. It's possible you could probably get a slightly higher, but with the way there's no chemistry, there's no starting storylines, there's no comment there. We must have got the 5 storylines over 70, because normally they'd be down here saying it doesn't feel like we've got enough interesting storylines going on. These are the fact that our network is limiting us on how much we can grow. We would have grown that many points in those areas, but our network's letting us down, so that's something to look into. And even though, I think you have to get like 10 points over your overness to grow in popularity, but I'm just glad we didn't lose any and we got an 83, so I'm pleased with that. Let's go and see the aftermath of that. Let's go and check out our storylines. So going into SmackDown now, at least we have 5 interesting storylines. That should make SmackDown easier to book, even though we've got to get those storylines over on SmackDown. which I'm not going to do this evening. I'll do that another time. Right then, so the feedback was awesome for the show, which is good. So if we check our storylines, so Banks and Asuka is at 60, but we only had one angle on that. We've got 61 for Apollo Crews and Lashley, 68 for Joe versus Black, 75 for McIntyre and Orton, so yeah, that's over 70, 81 for Mysterio Rollins, 75 for Owens and Lesnar, a 72 for the Street Profits and the Vegas Connection, a tag team feud that has got hotty. It's considered hot. That's a rarity in WWE. And Ziggler and Ricochet, which is a 78. So great, we managed to do that. Failure to do that, and we'd have probably ended up with like a 73 or something like that. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. So it shows it can be done. Let me know if you want to take up this challenge, so to speak. So without making any tweaks to the start of the game and with the starting roster it is, let's see if you can get a higher rating than an 83. Murphy's got promise. Cool. Sasha Banks is 2 more. You should release the kid and find someone better. Wow. Some drug testing was done. And the viewing figures, we got a 1.4, a 1.96, sorry, with 1.4 million viewers, and then 1.5 million views overall. Let's just check out that network. I never actually looked into that. So for our broadcasters. Very big, big, and then small. Big in the UK, so why aren't we growing there? Because BT Sports set to small. Fair enough. See if we have any roster changes there. So if I just set it to Raw. Any popularity changes, sorry, not roster changes. No, it doesn't appear. I never set it up that anyone would go over anyone else. Obviously, it'd be really difficult to get anything higher than a 70 rating, I think, without Brock Lesnar on the show, with that 90 popularity. Oh, Drew McIntyre improved a little bit in popularity. I didn't use Humberto on the show. Kevin Owens did a bit, that's good. Oh, did a tiny bit. Well, he's higher in New England. I suppose it's good nobody went down. I think, oh yeah, Rollins has gone down a bit. because of his defeat to Kevin Owens, but I had to put a decent match on. I think Zelina Vega's gone at 1. She had 10 popularity for some reason. She's been on the shows for months and months. I thought she'd have had higher than that, but it is what it is. That's what I had to work with. So guys, I hope you found that helpful. Just let me know if your first show was more successful than that. I did find it very difficult to put things together. I had to focus on the backstage for storylines and everything like that, starting from scratch. But I hope the next show should be a lot easier now because we've got that momentum. Well, yeah, most of the guys' momentum's at neutral as well, so that makes it even more difficult. But it's a good challenge. I enjoyed it, and if you did, hopefully you will like, subscribe, and check out my other videos. Please leave a comment if you're interested in me doing other things or trying other challenges, and I'll catch you down the road. Bye.